Today I am going to discuss about classification of integrated circuits. This is the unit 1. The integrated circuits can be classified according to mode of operation, process involved, level of integration and packages. This is going for the tabular form. There is the integrated circuit mode of operation. In that mode of operation we are having linear and digital, and process involved we are having monolithic and hybrid. In that monolithic we are having the BJT and unipolar. Level of integration we are having so many SSI, MSI, LSI, VLSI, ULSI, GSI, and last one is the packages. In this packages we are having dip, dual in package, metal can, flat, ceramic chip, carrier packages. First of all, we are going through the mode of operation. In that mode of operation, according to mode of operation, integrated circuits are linear or digital. First of all, analog IC circuits. In this analog IC circuit are equivalent to the discrete transistor circuit, such as amplifiers, filters, modulators, frequency multipliers. It accepts only analog signals as inputs. Now digital ICs. In this digital ICs are used to form the circuit which have two levels of voltage or current are high or low. These circuits like logic gates, counters, shift registers, multiplexers or demultiplexers. Introduction to the integrated circuit. The designing of electronic circuit using discrete components is effective for small circuits. When the complexity is more number of electronics components are required with more number of connections between them. Designing of such circuits may be critical, time consuming and less reliable. To avoid these problems, all components with their interconnections are fabricated on the same chip. Such circuit is called as the integrated circuit, that is IC circuits. The combination of two or more circuits and they are fabricated on the same chip in order to design them as IC or chip is known as the integrated circuits. Advantages IC over mode by interconnecting discrete components. Miniaturization and hence increased equipment density. Cost reduction due to the batch processing. Increased system reliability due to elimination of soldering joints. Improved functional performance as it is possible to fabricate even complex circuits for better characteristics. Matched devices, increased operating speed, finally reduction in the power consumed. The differential amplifier circuit in the operational amplifier. The designing of electronic circuit using discrete component is effective for small circuit. When circuit complexity is more number of electronic components are required with the more number of connection between them. The internal block diagram of the operational amplifier. In that we are having 4 steps. Differential amplifier as a dual input balanced output. Second one is the differential amplifier as a dual input and unbalanced output. Third one is the buffer or level translator. Fourth one is the output stage. First one is the input stage. The input stage requires high input impedance to avoid loading on the source. It requires two input terminals and has a low output impedance, that is R0 is equal to 0, V0 is equal to minimum voltage, current required maximum. All such requirements are achieved by using dual input balanced output differential amplifier as the input stage. Next, the second stage is the intermediate stage. In that intermediate stage, the output of the input stage drives the next stage, which is an intermediate stage. This is another differential amplifier with dual input unbalanced output, that is single ended output. The overall gain requirements of the output of the op amp is very high. The input stage alone cannot provide such a high gain. The main function of the intermediate stage is to provide an additional voltage gain required. Practically, the intermediate stage in a single amplifier, but the chain of the cascaded amplifier called the multi-stage amplifier. In that, very high gain and direct coupling without coupling the capacitors. Third stage is the level shifting stage. All the stages are directly coupled to each other. No components connected between the one stage to another stage. As the op-amp amplifier DC signals also, the coupling are not used to cascade the stage. Hence the DC output voltage level of the previous stage gets applied as the input to the next stage. Hence the stage by stage DC level increases well above ground potential. Such a high DC voltage level may drive the translators into the saturation. This is further may cause distortion in the output due to clipping. This may limit the maximum AC output voltage swing without any distortion. Hence, before the output stage, it is necessary to bring such a high DC voltage level to 0 volts with respect to ground. The level shifter stage brings the DC levels down to ground potential when no signal is applied at the input terminals. The buffer is usually an emitter follower whose input impedance is very high. This presents loading of the high gain stage. Last stage is the output stage. The last stage will be an power used to handle the large amount of the power from the previous stage. The basic requirement of an output stage is low output impedance, large AC output voltage swing, high current sourcing and sinking capability. The push-pull complementary amplifier meets all these requirements as a hence used in an output stage. Basic information of the op amp. Next topic is basic information of the op amp. The op amp is available in market in the form is integrated circuits. As we know that integrated circuits is the combination of two or more circuits and they are designed in the form of IC by the fabrication process. So op amp is a multi-stage amplifier. In IC circuits, large capacitances to fabricate is a problem. So coupling capacitor and bypass are not used in the op amp. So they are directly coupled amplifier. The directly coupled amplifier works for F is equal to D, that is DC signal, and for AC signal also, since capacitor externally not connected. Why it will be called as an op amp? The amplifier circuit do all mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, differentiation, integration. So it is called as a op amp. Operational of mathematical plus amplifier is equal to op amp. This is the circuit symbol. In that we are having two inputs and one output. One input is the inverting input, second one is the non-inverting input. In this inverting input is sign is minus and non-inverting input sign is the plus. Then we will get output is equal to output terminal. It is we are using here 741 IC op amp. The circuit is schematic of the op amp is a triangular. It has a two input terminals, that is one output terminal like that. Ideal and practical of op amp. For op-amp, input is supplied as a voltage and output is also a voltage, that is amplified of the input voltage. So op-amp is a voltage amplifier. The equivalent circuit of the voltage amplifier is equal to gain is equal to, we are giving input side VI and we will get output is equal to V0. Then AV is equal to V0 by VI. For op-amp, input is supplied as voltage, output as a voltage equivalent circuit. This is the equivalent circuit. Ri is far greater than Rs, so that Vs is equal to Vi, then Ri is equal to large, that is equal to infinity. Now R0 is less than RL, so that V0 is equal to AV into VA, R0 is equal to small, that is equal to 0. The op-amp is a multi-stage amplifier. First stage gain, then AV is equal to 30, and second stage gain AV2 is equal to 20. The multi-stage amplifier gain is AV1 is equal to AV into AV2, that is equal to 600. That is, for multi-stage amplifier gain will be very large. Ideal versus practical amplifier characteristics. This is the characteristics, ideal and practical. In voltage gain, ideal characteristics is infinity, practical is equal to 10 to the power of 6. Input resistance Ri is equal to ideal infinity, practical 1 mega ohm. Output resistance R0 is equal to ideal 0, practical 10 to 100 ohms. Bandwidth is equal to in ideal infinity, practical 10 to the power of 6 to the 6 hertz for the AV is equal to 1. Gain bandwidth product is equal to infinity and practical 10 to the power of 6 hertz. CMRR is equal to infinity, practical 10 to the power of 6 to 120 dB. Slew rate ideal is infinity, practical 80 volts per microsecond. Now operational amplifier characteristics. In ideal op-amp responds equally well to both AC and DC input voltage. However, a practical op-amp does not behave this way. A practical op-amp has some DC voltages at the output even both the inputs are grounded. In AC conditions, the characteristics of op-amp are frequency dependent. The limitations of op-amp under AC and DC conditions compensations are described. DC characteristics, AC characteristics. First of all, DC characteristics. Input offset voltage, input offset current, input bias current, input resistance Ri, input capacitance Ci, thermal drift, common mode rejection ratio, power supply rejection ratio, slew rate, gain bandwidth product. First of all, input offset voltage. If no external input signal is applied to the op-amp at the inverting or non-inverting input terminal, the output must be 0. That is, VA is equal to 0, V0 is equal to AVA. That is equal to V0 is not equal to 0. But this occurs due to the unsymmetric between differential amplifier transition and beta values are in constructions. This output value is got from the supply or biasing voltages VCC and minus VCC and unsymmetrical between differential amplifiers, so output will not be 0. This is known as the offset. To make V0 to 0, it is necessary to apply small differential voltage between the two input terminals of a op-amp. This applied to input is known as the input offset voltage, is denoted by the VIOS. VIOS is equal to VD1 minus VD2. Then VIO is equal to VD1 minus VD2. Ideal is equal to 0. Practical is equal to 100. Input offset current. In this from ideal op-amp, the input impedance is infinity. Ri is equal to infinity. So that current to op-amp is 0. It is not. So practically the IC op-amp draws currents from the source to the op-amp. The algebraic difference between the currents into the inverting and non-inverting terminal are called as the input offset current. In ideal is equal to 0, practical is equal to 100 nanoamps. This is the basic symbol for input of offset current. Here we are giving IIO is equal to IB1 minus IB2. Difference between the two currents. Now next, input bias current. The average of the current that flows into inverting and non-inverting input terminals of the op amp. That is IB is equal to IB1 plus IB2 by 2. Here ideal op amp is equal to 0, practical is equal to 500 nano amps. Input resistance RA. This is the equivalent resistance of the IC measured at either the inverting or non-inverting input terminal with the other terminal connected to the ground. Then ideal value is equal to infinity and practical value is equal to 2 mega ohms. Next, input capacitance CA. This is the equivalent capacitance CA that it can be measured as either inverting or non-inverting terminal with the other terminal connected to the ground. Ideal is equal to 0, practical is equal to 1.5 picofarad. Next, thermal drift. In the bias current, offset current and offset voltage change with the temperature. A circuit carefully nulled at the 25 degrees centigrade may not remain same. So when the temperature rises to 35 degrees centigrade, this is called as the thermal drift. Input offset voltage drift is equal to, this is the rate of change of VIO with temperature T. It is VIO drift is equal to dVIO divided by dt microvolts per degree centigrade. Ideal value is equal to 0, practical value is equal to 0.2 degree centigrade. Input offset current drift. IIO drift is equal to dIIO divided by dt, that is equal to microamps per degree centigrade. Ideal value is equal to 0, practical value is equal to 0.1 nano ampere per degree centigrade. Common mode rejection ratio. The parameter include the compatibility of the op amp to reject common signal. CMRR is defined as the ratio of the differential voltage gain divided by to the common mode voltage gain ACM. CMRR is equal to AD by ACM. The differential amplifier or amplifier rejects the common signal. ACM will be small and AD will be large. So CMRR should be large. Ideal CMRR is equal to infinity. Practical CMRR is equal to 90 dB. Now power supply rejection ratio. PSRR is defined as the ratio of the change in the input offset voltage VIO with the change in the one of the bias power supply VCC when other power supply is held constant. PSRR is equal to dVIO divided by dt microvolts per volts. Slew rate. This is defined as the maximum rate of change of output voltage per unit time. The input capacitance of the op amp circuit prevents it from responding instantaneously to high frequency signal. Capacitor does not allow the sudden changes of voltage, so it taken time to respond. SR is equal to delta V naught by delta T per maximum. Gain bandwidth product. This is the product of bandwidth and voltage gain. This is bandwidth of the op amp when the voltage gain is unity. As frequency increases, the gain decreases because of frequency increases. Lambda C is equal to 1 by 2 pi FC decreases. So ZL also decreases. Hence V0 is equal to IL into ZL also decreases. So that gain AV decreases. The gain bandwidth product indicates the capability of the op amp to amplify the input signal of larger frequency. Ideal value is equal to infinity. Practical value is equal to 1 megahertz. Now coming to the AC characteristics. Ideally op amp should be infinite bandwidth, that is no cutoff frequency. Horizon is maintained constant for all frequencies. But in practical there is a capacitor, parasitic capacitor internally of BJT FET capacitor do not allow the sudden changes of voltages. So the gain on output voltage cannot be constant. So there have a 3 dB or corner frequency, cutoff frequency. The parasitic capacitor comes in the picture at the higher frequencies. This is the ideal graph, this is the practical graph. High frequency model of op amp with corner frequency. This is the open loop voltage gain of an op amp with only one corner frequency, that is this one. Then V0 is equal to minus j into lambda c divided by R0 minus j lambda c into AOL VD. Then A is equal to V0 by VD, that is equal to AOL divided by 1 plus j omega j 2 pi f R0 c. Then A is equal to AOL divided by 1 plus j into f by f1. f1 is equal to 1 by 2 pi R0 c. Then determination of A is equal to AOL divided by square root of 1 plus f by f1 whole square. Then V0 is equal to minus j lambda c into xc divided by R0 by minus j xc. Pi is equal to tan inverse of f by f1. This is the op amp parameters, ideal and typical values. Parameters symbol, ideal value, typical value and units. Input offset voltage VIO is equal to ideal value 0, typical value is 100, units microvolts. Input offset current IIO is equal to ideal value 0, typical value 100, units nano ampere. Input bias current I0 is equal to ideal value 0, practical value 500, units nano amperes. Then input resistance Ri is equal to input ideal value infinity, typical value 2 units mega ohms. Input capacitance Ci is in ideal value 0, practical value 1.5 units picofarads. Input offset voltage drift Vi drift is equal to ideal value 0, practical 2 units microvolts per degree centigrade. Input offset current drift IIO ideal value 0, practical value 0.1 units nano ampere per degree centigrade. CMRR is equal to ideal value infinity, practical value 90 units dn. PSRR ideal value 0, practical value 150 units microvolts per degree per volts. Slew rate ideal value 0, practical value 0.01 units volts per microvolts. Next, 741 op amp and its features of op amp. This is the 8-pin 741 using pin number 1 is the offset null, second one inverting input, third one is the non-inverting input, fourth one is the supply, fifth one is the offset null, sixth one output, seventh one supply, eighth one is the no connections. Features of 741 IC. In that short circuit and overload problems provided. Second one is the in DC output voltage will be 0 if both inputs of the 741 ICs are connected to the ground. But in practice a small DC output may be appear due to the mirror internal unbalances. It is usually connected in the normal applications. But for critical conditions the output voltage can be set procedurally to 0 by connecting a 10K potentiometer between terminals marked of the offset null. Third one is the low power consumption. Fourth one is the large common mode rejection ratio CMRR and differential voltage ranges. Fifth one is the no external frequency compensation is required. It is also does not need to external compensation for the phase component. This simplifies the circuit design and minimization the number of components used. No latch up problem.